Sino ba ang hindi naapektuhan? Sino ba ang hindi nag-alala? Sino ba ang hindi nalito? Lahat tayo ay naapektuhan. Lahat tayo ay nag-aalala. Lahat tayo ay nalito. Dahil binago ng pandemyang dulot ng COVID-19, ang paraan ng pamumuhay ng lahat ng mga Pilipino saan mang sektor ka nabibilang. Tumigil ang panandalian ang ating mga nakagawian. Tumigil ang lahat ng uri ng transaksyon. Tumigil ang lahat ng operasyon ng mga paaralan. Nakalilito. Nakakakaba. Paano na ang kinabukasan ng mga kabataan? Paano na tayo sa hinaharap? Opisyal na nilulunsad ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon sa pangunguna ng Office of the Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction ang DepEd Teaches. Ito ay isang online na programa na gagabay sa mga guro, tagapangasiwa, magulang at mag-aaral hinggil sa mga pagbabago sa batayang edukasyon ngayong new normal. Ang DepEd Teaches ay angkla sa sulong edukalidad na nakatuon sa apat na pangunahing pangangailangan ng mapunyaging reforma tungo sa makalidad na pagtuturo at pagkatuto. Una, pagre-review at pagsasapanahon ng kurikulum ng K-12. Ikalawa, pagpapaunlad ng kapaligiran pampagkatuto. Ikatlo, paglinang ng mga bagong kasanayan sa mga guro. At ang ikaapat, ang pakikipag-ugnay sa mga stakeholder para sa suporta at kolaborasyon. Sa pamamagitan ng virtual learning platform, ang DepEd Teaches ang magsisilbing bukas na komunidad ng pagsasanay na titipon sa mga guro, tagapamunong pang-edukasyon at sa sinumang may pagnanais sa pagtataguyod ng kalidad na edukasyon sa bansa at sa pagtagumpay ng bawat Pilipinong mag-aaral. Ang mga opisyal, education specialist, learning content expert at outstanding teacher ng DepEd ang magiging tagapanayam na magbabahagi ng kanilang kaalaman at kasanayan sa kurikulum, pagtuturo at pagkatuto, pagtataya at lahat ng kaugnay na mahalaga sa proseso ng pagtuturo at pagkatuto sa new normal. Bilang mga frontliner ng classroom, inaasahang magiging aktibo ang mga guro sa programang ito. Ang mga tema at paksa ay angkop sa kanilang pangangailangan at konteksto sa pamamagitan ng accessible na platform, ang social media. Sumali na sa OUCI family sa DepEd Teaches, kung sama-sama mapahuhusay pa ang mga guro, kung sama-sama higit na malilinang natin ang mga mag-aaral.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 6th episode of DepEd Teaches. It is going to be another exciting segment as we learn, relearn, and unlearn new things about K-12 curriculum and planning. We are live right now on our official Facebook pages, the DepEd Philippines, DepEd Tayo, and our new page, the DepEd Teaches. So just continue inviting your friends, colleagues, to like, follow, and share our DepEd Teaches Facebook page. Hello, Miss Anna. Good afternoon. How was the feedback we got from the first episode last week as our first episode this year?
A pleasant day to everyone. Good afternoon, Sir July. So you were asking about the feedback and actually my observation in the last episode or in the previous episodes. What I've noticed is that our live audience has been very active and they've never failed actually to introduce themselves, which is a good thing because this only shows that they're really proud and delighted to be part of this activity. So again, thank you so much for your continued support. You know, Sir July, we see that there is also a diverse representation of our audience across all key stages and in all regions, which is a good thing that happened to us in this pandemic because more people have gained access to knowledge and more people we are able to reach in social media. And so just keep on sharing the good news about DepEd Teaches. The more followers, the more people will be informed and more opportunities for us to work collaboratively towards the common goal of DepEd Teaches, which is empowering teachers, enabling learners. So, we encourage our viewers right now to join us in the comment section. What do you like about DepEd Teaches? And what do you look forward to learning in today's episode? Don't forget to use our hashtag I support DepEd Teaches.
Yes, I agree, Miss Anna. When I did the playback of our last episodes, our viewers expressed positive remarks from the comments in our FB, and we hope that we will be able to meet their expectations and as well sustain this level of enthusiasm as we move forward and offer our viewers a menu of learning every Thursday here in DepEd Teaches. So, Miss Anna, before we introduce our speaker, let us invite our audience to join us in a mini challenge for today. Can you explain to us the mechanics?
All right, so I'm very excited about this. This is a classic game because probably most of you have played this before. Are you familiar with four picks in one word? So we're going to show you four pictures and guess the main idea or the common theme related to all four images. Your answer can be a word or a phrase, and the idea could be about the previous episode or in today's topic or anything related to teaching. So you are given 10 seconds to type in the comment box your answer. Are you ready? So let's begin. For the first item, let's show them the pictures, please. And so, what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is Bloom's taxonomy or Bloom. You might be wondering why we use butterfly. Well, if you remember in last week's episode, our speaker used a metaphor of a blooming butterfly as she visualized and explained to us the concept of Bloom's taxonomy and how we can use this as a guiding principle in our instructional design, especially when we prepare our learning resource materials. So what's next, Sir July?
Okay, so let's show them the second picture. So these are the four pictures. So to our viewers, again, please key in your answers in the comment section of our FB page. We are giving 10 seconds for our audience to write their answers. Okay, so we have a very active and smart audience here in DepEd Teaches. So the correct answer is learning delivery modalities or simply modalities. I have seen some comments already having correct answers. So good job, teachers. And finally, Miss Anna, what's our last set of pictures?
So for the last item, let's show them the pictures, please. And so the correct answer is explicit or explicit teaching, which is an example of a teaching strategy. And in today's episode, We will learn more about appropriate teaching strategies and various learning delivery modalities. As you can see in the leftmost picture, the teacher is demonstrating, followed by a teacher guiding the student. And then the third picture is about learners working together. And the rightmost picture is about independent learning. So good job, teachers. That ends our mini challenge today. Sir July, what do you think about our viewers?
Yes, well, Ma'am Anna, I am confident that our viewers will pass the content evaluation on the 7th episode. So they can receive their certificate of participation signed by USEC Diosdado San Antonio. Miss Anna mentioned a while ago that we will be talking about strategies. So I guess at this point, our audience is ready to meet our esteemed resource speaker.
Joining us today here in DepEd Teaches is Dr. Alejandro G. Ibañez. He is currently the officer in charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent in the Division of Navotas City. Prior to this designation, he served as Education Program Supervisor at DepEd NCR and concurrently the Planning Officer of the region.
In addition, he was a part-time graduate professor at the Philippine Normal University and the University of the Philippines, Diliman, teaching alternative education, education research, and education management. He was also awarded as an outstanding research leader in DepEd NCR for his passion and practice in research discipline. To talk about now selecting teaching strategies and tasks relevant for different learning delivery modalities, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the officer in charge of the schools division of Navotas City, no other than Dr. Alejandro G. Ibañez.
My dear colleagues in SDO Navotas, on behalf of our Regional Director, Dr. Garma, I am Dr. Alejandro G. Ibañez, the caretaker of Schools Division Office of Navotas, and I'm here to present to all of you the DepEd Teaches Episode 6, titled Selecting Teaching Strategies and Tasks Relevant for Learning Delivery Modalities. The presentation outline includes the DepEd NCR Contextualized Basic Education Learning Continuity Program Sustainability Frame, because as much as possible, we would like to align our plans and directions to that of the regional office. Next is the SDO Navotas Basic Education Learning Continuity Program Sustainability Frame, because we have the end in mind to sustain distance learning operation in the context of the division operation. Next is the SDO Navotas Learning Delivery Modality, because we want to contextualize our strategies based on the learning delivery modality and the context of our learners. Next is the distance learning delivery strategies from kindergarten to elementary to junior high school and senior high school. and the instructional supervision support and community-based monitoring of distance learning teaching strategies. Presenting to you is the contextualized BELCP sustainability frame of the Department of Education National Capital Region. This is the direction given to us by the regional director, and we align our plans and strategies to this frame. So the basic question is, how are we going to sustain the operationalization of distance learning in the entire region? So it should have been considering the fact that we should begin with the end in mind. What learning outcomes do we desire from our learners, particularly in the 21st century? And that includes character, creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Now, I will not dwell too long on this presentation, but I would like to highlight the mandate of DepEd NCR in terms of contextualizing policies derived from that of the department, and at the same time, the quality assurance, monitoring and evaluation, and technical assistance support from the regional office down to the division. At this point, I'd like to underscore our sustainability frame, the SDO Navotas frame, derived from the inputs of our stakeholders, wherein it goes with the core mandate of the division. So to the left side is the input aspect of the frame, wherein we consider the interagency task force and LGU directives, the basic education learning continuity program of the Department of Education, other DepEd Central Office issuances, including the policies and guidelines, the DepEd NCR contextualization of basic education learning continuity program, operationalization, our very own LCP sustainability frame, our data from the schools, which we derive from our LCP. As you can see, we have three major concerns, three major areas and components of our sustainability frame based on our mandate, from curriculum implementation to school governance and operations, and the last one is administrative support. So I will dwell on the curriculum implementation because this gives input to strategies a little later. The first major component under the curriculum implementation concern is ensuring availability of learning resources. So that is in line with the Regional Memorandum number 24, Series 2020. Presenting to you is the contextualized BELCP sustainability frame of the Department of Education National Capital Region. This is the direction given to us by the regional director, and we align our plans and strategies to this frame. So the basic question is, how are we going to sustain the operationalization of distance learning in the entire region? So it should have been considering the fact that we should begin with the end in mind. What learning outcomes do we desire from our learners, particularly in the 21st century? And that includes character, creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Now, I will not dwell too long on this presentation, but I would like to highlight the mandate of DepEd NCR in terms of contextualizing policies derived from that of the department, and at the same time, the quality assurance, monitoring and evaluation, and technical assistance support from the regional office down to the division. At this point, I'd like to underscore our sustainability frame, the SDO Navotas frame, derived from the inputs of our stakeholders, wherein it goes with the core mandate of the division. So to the left side is the input aspect of the frame, wherein we consider the interagency task force and LGU directives, the Basic Education Learning Continuity Program of the Department of Education, other DepEd Central Office issuances, including the policies and guidelines, the DepEd NCR contextualization of Basic Education Learning Continuity Program, operationalization, our very own LCP sustainability frame, our our data from the schools which we derive from our LCP. As you can see, we have three major concerns, three major areas and components of our sustainability frame based on our mandate, from curriculum implementation to school governance and operations, and the last one is administrative support. So I will dwell on the curriculum implementation because this gives input to strategies a little later. The first major component under the curriculum implementation concern is ensuring availability of learning resources. So that is in line with the Regional Memorandum number 24, Series 2021, that we have ongoing procurement of SLMs using DepEd downloaded, SDO and school MOE, the utilization of special education fund and other sources. So I would like to tell everyone that based on studies, local and abroad, that availability of learning resources is the best predictor of effectiveness of the operationalization of distance learning. So we are confident that because we have available learning resources taken from the different sources, we're confident that we're going to operationalize distance learning in the next few months of the remaining school years and even beyond. The next is assuring quality of distance learning. So when we assure quality of distance learning, we need to intensify our instructional supervision. And that instructional supervision hits
So
the
dire-diretso sa
teaching
mag.
strategies, how the
Walang
teachers contextualize their approaches based on the delivery that we adapted and the context of our learners. Next is the community-based monitoring of distance learning because as much as possible, we would like to know the level of engagement of the different actors, the teachers, the learners, the parents, and the supervisors in the conduct of distance learning. We also have the ICT support for distance learning, wherein we consider we have process flow for the attendance of learners and at the same time tracking the attendance of teachers because we believe that it has implication to ensuring quality of distance learning. Though we consider flexibility because distance learning is considered alternative education. Therefore, we have options for our learners to consider the time, the place, the space, and the processes. The next is utilizing integrative assessment of learning outcomes wherein we are strictly implementing DepEd Order number 31, Series 2020, and that we are adopting integrative assessment. Integrative assessment does not just ensure quality of distance learning, but at the same time, it adheres to the principle of academic is as encouraged by DepEd and the monitoring of learners' performance, of course. The next is rationalizing curriculum implementation. So rationalizing curriculum implementation is conducting curriculum mapping, streamlining our most essential learning competencies that by the third and fourth quarters, the regional office decided to come up with 10-page SLMs because we want to ensure of academic ease, reduce activities to promote academic ease, and align MALCs with budget of work and weekly home learning plan. And then sustaining other relevant education programs because there are still programs which need to continue because they are still relevant, such as the implementation of ALS Alive, the SPED, the senior high school program, reading program, journalism, career guidance, ADM, and of course doing action researches because distance learning is an ongoing process. We continue to explore strategies and there's no best way to carry out and implement strategies and reforms by getting the accurate data, empirical data to support our claim. So that's the whole gamut of our curriculum implementation concern. And at the center is we only sustain operationalization of distance learning when our people are resilient in terms of culture, character, and choice, because we believe that Filipinos in culture are resilient, because we believe that strength in character is considered resilience, and we believe that it is our choice to be resilient. And in that aspect, in that aspect, we continue to involve our stakeholders down there through consultation, continue monitoring and evaluating and provide support. And in that case, the effect component will be there will be sustained delivery of quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating basic education for all through proactive. We need to plan ahead, implement ahead, and monitor and evaluate through our effective change management strategies. And the outcome is, even despite pandemic, we are still able to realize our DepEd vision, mission, and core values for our learners. The next slide presents the learning delivery modality the SDO Navotas adopted, because out of the strategies to be presented a little later, we align our strategies based on the learning delivery modality. And basically, in SDO Navotas, our modality is blended learning modality in the context of combined learning modalities, not in the context of in-school, off-school approach. So the modified modular distance learning is considered an individualized instruction that allows learners to use self-learning modules, whether that be in print or digital electronic copy. And learning resources were given to all learners, which contained the following, and they are placed in our popular Nabu School in a box. And that includes textbooks, the ADM self-learning modules by DepEd, the modules materials prepared by SD on schools, the worksheets prepared by teachers, the USB OTGs, wherein all of our learners receive USB OTGs, and at the same time, some of them receive smartphones sponsored by the local government through the initiative of our dear Mayor Toby Tiangco and Congressman John Ray Tiangco. It also contains the lesson guides for parents and guardians, other supplies and materials, and hygiene kits like alcohol, soap, towels, among others. Now, distance learning is only online distance learning, only serves to support as reinforcement strategy to modular distance learning to learners who have access to technology. So our modality is inclusive, hitting the different status of our learners and our families in SDO Navotas. At this point, there's no other way to discuss the strategies based on learning delivery modality and context of learners, but the teachers themselves who are exposed in the actual teaching and learning sessions in distance learning. So at this point, I'd like to call our competent teachers in SDO Navotas, beginning from teacher Fatima Corina R. Ribas, to discuss on the strategies in the kindergarten level, which includes the use of developmentally aligned distance learning strategies through Project Islab, the play-based instruction using the Project Laro, and home-based literacy reinforcement. For the elementary level, teacher Genevieve R. Antonio will facilitate the discussion on the different strategies, the data-driven and learner-focused strategies, the curricular integration, the synchronous and asynchronous distance learning delivery strategies, and Teacher Richelle and Kupkupin will discuss about the interdisciplinary lesson strategies to promote academic ease in distance learning for junior high school, while Teacher Jasmine Roxanne A. Sobre Mesana to discuss for senior high school on multidisciplinary integration in crafting weekly home learning plan and teaching strategies for senior high school learners. Instructional supervision. And the SDO Navotas instructional supervision transition from the, the stigma aspect of instructional supervision before to the supporta aspect. So this time, the SDO Navotas supports our schools with the development of the Division Star Patrol Implementation Guide, wherein all the protocols in instructional supervision are followed. And of course, in order to ensure the level of engagement of the different actors in actual teaching and learning, our division officials and school officials as well conduct community-based monitoring of distance learning in order to gauge the interplay of engagement between and among the teachers, the learners, the parents, and the guardian in the operationalization of distance learning. We know for a fact that the learning environment does not consider the school anymore, but considering the 50,300 learners that we have in Navotas, 50,300 learning environments are also considered. And to end, as I always say, this is not about showing up. This is about change management. And in SDO Navotas, we speak and embody our tagline, passion, purpose, productivity. Thank you, and God bless us all.
This part is about the delivery of lesson via distance learning modality. For modular, learning packets are provided to the kindergarten pupils. For online, the use of FB Messenger for asynchronous video lessons and use of other online classroom platforms for kumustahan. The Project Kislap ensured the development of kindergarten learning packets. Through this project, activities were aligned with the most essential learning competencies and were anchored on the weekly content focus of the Kindergarten Teacher's Guide. Teachers crafted and printed these learning packets. Online distance learning is a reinforcement strategy for instruction. FB Messenger can be used to communicate to parents and learners, to monitor and track learners' progress and needs, to provide supplemental video lessons, to do virtual kumustahan, and for instructional supervision. Using the flexible home-based learning program, this feedback monitoring can be prepared. Using Messenger and other teleconferencing app, the teacher, parent, and child may do the virtual kumustahan. During this time, the parent and the teacher may discuss how else they can improve the teaching and learning. Teacher may also use this time to do some forms of assessments. Teacher and parent may also arrange virtual interaction among learners. This part showcases some best practices. According to literature, children should have been read to at least 1,000 times before formal reading instruction. This project entitled Nay, Tay, Basahan Mo Ako ng Kwento ensures that parents read to their children, strengthens home as a literacy environment, supports language and communication, and improves children's motivation for learning. In this project, kindergarten teachers send home storybooks which the parents and other family members can read to the child. Another unique project in kindergarten is the Project Laro. Donated toys are included in the kindergarten pupils' Navo School in a box. This was made possible with a partnership with Philippine Toy Library. This aims to maximize the benefits of play and children's learning, especially in this new normal of distance learning modality. It also strengthens the idea that play is the primary means of learning in the early years. For the assessment strategies in kindergarten, we have the Philippine Early Childhood Development Checklist as the main assessment tool in kinder. Kindergarten Portfolio is another assessment tool that teachers can utilize. As a final message, let's take advantage of the new learning modality to explore our creativity and talents and to see this new normal as a learning opportunity.
Before writing the weekly home learning plan, teachers should know first the pupil's individual profile. In our school, aside from LESF, we've collected the profile of our learners, their personal data, the reading level of each pupil based from the assessment of the previous teacher, the available gadgets, or if they have internet, and of course, the availability of parents or guardians. Sa klase ko ngayon, may 32 pupils ako. Napakaswerte ko dahil base sa impormasyon na binigay nila sa akin, lahat sila ay may cellphone. Maliban doon, 15 ang may laptop, 10 naman ang may desktop, at 30 sa kanila may TV, then 20 ang may radyo. Ibig sabihin, pwede akong magbigay ng activities na gamit ang mga ito. Next, sa internet naman, 10 ang gumagamit ng mobile data lamang at 20 naman ang Wi-Fi. Meron akong dalawa na walang internet pero may cellphone sila. Para maiakma ko ang mga activities na i-include ko sa kanilang weekly home learning plan, kinuha ko ang kanilang reading level sa kanilang mga dating teachers. Lahat sila ay may oral language skills. 29 ang may phonological awareness skills, 26 ang may phonetic skills, 15 ang may vocabulary skills na akma sa kanilang level, 10 ang fluent readers na, 5 naman ang may comprehension skills na akma sa kanilang level or edad. So sa pamamagitan nito, mabibigyan ko sila ng iba't ibang activities na aakma sa kanilang iba't ibang level. Then, kinuha ko din ang parents availability. So, kailangan kong malaman kung sino sa bawat araw ang available para sa parents pamustahan. In preparing the weekly home learning plan, we teachers should know or should decide first what learning delivery modality we will be adapting. For example, in our school, we decided to adopt blended learning, combination of self-learning modules and online learning. But due to limited access of internet, our online learning is only for follow-up, to guide learners in answering their modules, to provide them enhancement, remediation, or assessment. Our online learning can be synchronous or asynchronous. Or, para sa mga walang internet, meron din kaming text or call. For synchronous, our options are option 1, si teacher pwede siyang mag-live chat lessons gamit ang messenger. Next, pwede din siyang mag-video conference gamit ang Google Meet or Messenger Room. bata siya na walang internet at hindi pwede sa synchronous online, si teacher ay magkakaroon ng text or call conference. So ano man ang lesson na i-discuss niya sa synchronous ay same din sa text or call conference. Para sa asynchronous, ang option ay option 1, pwedeng mag-create si teacher ng Facebook private group. Option 2, gagamit siya ng Google Classroom. Option 3, magbibigay siya ng QR codes sa kanyang mga learners. Delivering the lesson through synchronous online, we will be applying the curriculum integration. Dahil maliban sa limited yung access sa internet, magiging limited din ang oras, at the same time, yung interest ng bata hindi naman ganun katagal. So katulad po dito sa 5 subjects ng grade 1, ESP, MTB, Araling Panlipunan, Math at PE. Ang mga competencies na ito ay pwede kong i-integrate in one lesson. For example, ang competencies sa ESP ay tungkol sa potential o kahinaan at damdamin ng pagkilala ng mga iyon. Then, pagdating sa MTB, pagpapakilala sa sarili niya. Then, sa Araling Panlipunan, tungkol na naman to sa pagpapakilala sa sarili. Then, sa Math, pagbilang ng 0 to 100. Then, sa PE, pag-create ng shapes gamit ang iba't ibang parte ng katawan. Kung papansinin ninyo, ang mga competency sa PE, sa Math, at sa MTB at maging sa AP ay mga potensyal o kakayahan ng bata. So, pwede ko itong i-integrate lahat sa ESP. So, sa itong 5 ito na competency ay makakagawa ako ng isang lesson na napaloob ko na lahat ng competency na dapat malaman ng bata sa isang linggo. Tulad dito sa weekly home learning plan, dito sa ESP ang lesson, pero nagawa kong ma-integrate ang 4 na subject. So sa pamagitan ng dito sa aking pagsasanay, ang bata ay bibilang, ipapakilala ang kanyang sarili, bubuo siya ng iba't ibang hugis sa pamagitan ng pagkilos ng kanyang katawan, at susulat siya ng impormasyon asynchronous. Pag sinabing asynchronous, magpo-post lamang si teacher ng mga online activities sa LMS na napagdesisyonan nila ng kanyang klase. Halimbawa, Facebook group o kaya naman Google Classroom. So, sa kanyang weekly home learning plan ay kailangan pa rin niyang isulat ang mga activities na ipopost niya doon para sa mga batang walang gadget at internet. So, lahat pa rin ng kanyang mga activities ay i-consider niya lahat ng sitwasyon ng kanyang mga bata. So, katulad nito, sabi niya dito, may panunuoring video. Kaso, paano nga kung walang internet ang bata o walang gadget? So, maliban sa pag-post ng link o kung saan niya ipopost yung video, ay meron isinulat niya pa rin dito kung tungkol saan yung video na panonoorin nila para alam din ng batang walang gadget at walang internet. Since grade 1 ang mga ito, aside sa kanilang mga subjects, meron din silang reading time. So para ito, sa batang ang level niya ay oral language skills pa lang at kailangan pa niyang i-develop ang phonological awareness skills niya. So, identify the initial sounds, and these are the learning tasks. Okay, kung may internet siya, pwede niyang isend ang kanyang output ulit sa Facebook group, or kung wala naman, ipapasa ng magulang sa teacher sa school, kasabay ng pagpasa ng mga sagot niya sa kanyang modules. Next, meron din po tayong self-assessment task. Narito ang magiging gabay para sa self-assessment task. Ito ay base sa mga competencies sa mga subjects na napag-aralan niya sa araw na iyon. Aside from doon, pwede din niyang gawin ang kanyang portfolio, at dahil kinuha ko yung availability ng kanilang parents, bawat araw, merong mga naka-assign or naka-schedule na parents para sa parent-teachers kamustahan. Tuwing Friday, ang kanilang activity ay to complete the modules, in answering the modules and activity sheets, or the teacher can give enrichment activities or portfolio activity. So, we will also have two options here, para sa batang may internet at para sa batang walang internet. Itong nasa taas ay para sa batang may internet. So, ang kanyang task ay pupunta sa application ng CISO account niya. O kaya naman, i-scan niya ang QR code para gawin yung kanyang mga task. Ito naman nasa ibaba ay para sa batang walang internet. Natawagan siya ng guro at ito ang kanyang mga gagawin. Then, pagdating ng 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, meron na naman po tayong parents, teachers, kamustahan para sa weekly feedbacking. Sa Facebook private group, pwede itong gamitin ni teacher para sa asynchronous. Maaari siyang mag-post ng recorded online discussion, ng mga video lessons, dagdag na gabay para sa mga magulang. Maaari din siyang maglagay ng mga portfolio activities at maglagay ng kanyang mga feedback sa mga outputs na ipinasa ng mga bata. At present, I am also testing the effectivity of the use of Google Classroom to my young journalists by conducting English and Filipino lessons. So I am posting different lessons here like simple present tense of the verb. Since bago ang bata sa paggamit ng Google Classroom, sinusuportahan ko pa rin ito ng mga instruction sa Messenger. We will also be using QR codes as support sa pagsagot ng kanilang mga self-learning modules. Ididikit namin sa mga modules ang mga QR codes bilang suporta lalo na sa mga frustrated or non-readers namin. Gayon din para magbigay ng additional resources or enhancement para sa mga bata. Gagamitin din namin ang mga ito lalo na sa primary para sa kanilang reading intervention programs. Magdidikit kami ng QR codes bilang dagdag na resources sa mga bata o dagdag na suporta sa discussion na nandun sa kanilang modules. So pagka-scan, diretso na silang mapupunta dun sa video na related dun sa kanilang module. Next, maaari din kaming magbigay ng audio guide para sa mga frustrated or non-readers. Katulad sa klase ko, may 5 akong bata na hindi pa talaga kayang magbasa. So, pwede ako magdikit sa kanilang
Makinig sa aking
self-learning
kwento.
module.
Ang
So,
pamagat ng aking kwento
maririnig na
ay
nila yung audio
si
guide.
Jaja at ang kanyang talento.
Gagamitin din namin ang QR codes para malaman ang mga feedbacks ng mga parents o ng learners sa iba't ibang module na kanilang sasagutan. Katulad nito, pwede namin itong idikit sa likod ng self-learning module nila. Ang kanilang kasagutan ay marireceive namin sa aming email. Makikita namin kaagad saan ang bata nagkaroon ng problema. Kung sakali naman na walang internet ang bata, pwede namin siyang bigyan ng reflection sheet, katulad nitong nasa example. Isusulat niya din dito kung saan siya nagkaroon ng problema, saan siya nadalian, saan siya nahirapan, para mabigyan ng solusyon ng teacher.
The DepEd's call for an academic ease is for us to simplify our work and to simplify the tasks of our students. Our journey in creating this lesson entails motivation, passion, and love for the learners. In the planning stage, we conducted a Zoom meeting for us to brainstorm and conceptualize the ideas in designing the multidisciplinary weekly home learning plan. Then we plotted the most essential learning competencies for each subject. We used the map that we are taking for this week. Afterwards, we thought of a common and relevant theme for us to have a point of connection for our MELs. This is the concept given by the SDO Navotas. The theme we to work on is about disaster preparedness, or in Filipino, paghahanda sa sakuna. The next step is the most challenging one, connecting and redesigning the module activities. This is needed for us to connect and have an alignment with the theme. Kudos to my cooperative and hardworking co-teachers. These are the following activities. For Filipino, for English, for math, for science, for Araling Panlipunan, for MAPE, for TLE, and for ESP. The crafted activities are aligned with the theme. Some of them were adopted and redesigned from the SLM. The other activities used are the given activities from the self-learning module. The integrated assessment task is the highlight of the weekly home learning plan. This task is the center of the concept of academic ease. All subject areas will come up with a collaborative written and performance task to moderate the number of students' outputs in distance learning. For our integrated assessment task, we decided to ask the students to come up with a vlog. There is a pathway of learning consideration on this part. Making a vlog for those learners who have the access to internet connection and own the suitable gadgets needed for vlog making. On the other hand, making a paper blog for those learners who have limited access to internet connection and do not own the needed gadget. For vlog, the students are asked to make a maximum of 5-minute vlog explaining the steps for disaster preparedness. He or she needs to consider the most essential learning competencies for all 8 subjects. For paper blog, the students make a paper blog explaining the steps for disaster preparedness. He or she needs to consider the most essential learning competencies for all 8 subjects. To clarify, the only difference between blog and vlog is that blog is a written content, while vlog is similar to a blog. However, it contains video content instead of written content. The making of rubric is the last stage. In here, the teachers need to consider the MELCs for each subject, making sure that each competency is part of the rubric. Remember, in order for us to validate the effectivity of the assessment, The rubric must be aligned with our target milk. Two rubrics were created, one for the making of vlog and the other one is for the making of paper vlog. The rubric's criteria include link to class content, wherein the MELCs for math, TLE, science, and MAPE are enclosed. This criterion measures if the vlog and paper vlog demonstrate link to the content of those subjects. The next criterion is the language. English and Filipino MELCs are geared towards the use of transitional words for sequencing of events and signal words for compare and contrast. The third criterion is depth of reflection. The MELCs for ESP and AP are suitable for the element of reflection. The last criterion, video quality for vlog and creativity for paper vlog. This stat
According to International Bureau of Education, a multidisciplinary approach is a way to integrate curriculum which focuses primarily on the different disciplines and the diverse perspective they bring to illustrate a topic, theme, or an issue. A multidisciplinary curriculum is one in which the same topic is studied from the viewpoint of more than one discipline. For the grade 12, the template is uploaded in Google Drive where teachers can easily access it in Google Docs. They can be able to edit the content in real time. Using this online platform, subject teacher can now encode the content for their subject. They need to look for the competencies in their MELCs, which is intended for the particular week. In our example, we tried to use the first quarter and week 5. When all the teachers have finished encoding their competency together with the learning codes, it is a time where the subject teachers must collaborate to discuss the best theme or topic to be integrated with the activities. We discussed for the possible theme that our students can relate on their personal experiences to enhance and elicit learning. Then we come up to this theme, hope for new beginnings. Let us now proceed in accomplishing the second page. Here, we will need to encode the date and time, the learning area, learning task, and the mode of delivery. Let us focus on the preparation of the learning task, which I know this can be the challenging part in accomplishing this form. But do not worry because I will show you later on how it can be possibly done. For the learning task, we still need to refer to our SLM and try to look for the most appropriate activities that we can relate to the theme. And at the same time, it must be aligned with the competencies. I do understand that our SLMs are not designed for the thematic approach, but what we did is that we modified some of the activities depending on the subject to align with the theme. Take note that these activities under the learning task are what we will use as the formative assessment. Let me show you now our output or product on how we align our activities to the theme, using the MELCs and the SLEM in every subject. I want you to observe on how we integrate it to our theme, hope for new beginnings, pag-asa tungo sa bagong simula. modify the activities. You know this about the activities. Again, we still need to use or refer our lessons in our SLMs, and yet modify the activities based on the theme. We can create stories that may help our students to relate from their personal experiences or to real-life situations. How did we design for our integrative assessment? We prepared one big activity and integrate each subject to the theme. It must be noted that the medium or platform to be used by the learners in performing this activity must be varied. For the modular learners, they have to be creative and resourceful in producing drawing materials for the activity. While to those students who have gadgets, either cell phone or computer, they will be using an online or offline platform in performing the task. Lastly, how do we assess our students' performance tasks? Still, we need to prepare and be flexible in creating our rubric for our modular and online learners. Take a look at our example. We made use of analytic rubric. This is a rubric designed for modular learners. The criteria and the scale we prepared are just the same, except that we need to modify some of the performance descriptor for the modular and online learners. As you will notice on the fifth criteria, the modular learners have different description on how they can be creative in performing the task using the available materials they have at home. While this is for the online learners, we still use the same criteria, scale, and description for the first to fourth criteria. But we modified in the creativity, which is the digital online learners have to be skillful in manipulating the software. And there are the ways that we prepare our multidisciplinary weekly learning plan.
All right, so thank you so much, Dr. Alejandro G. Ibañez and the team of teachers in the Schools Division of Navotas for a timely and meaningful presentation. I agree that Filipinos are indeed resilient. To borrow your line, it is in our culture, character, and our choice to be resilient. And this is evident as to how our teachers have maximized the available resources, and they've come up with data-driven learning tasks and share with us concrete strategies. So kudos to our teachers, and thank you, Dr. Ibanez. And to our viewers, we love to hear feedback from you. We would like to know if you have learned new strategies or you've been currently adopting these strategies. Okay, so use the hashtag I support DepEd Teaches, DepEd Teaches Episode 6. You can also share your selfie post while you were listening in today's presentation.
Again, thank you so much, SDS Ibañez. That was a collaborative presentation together with some teachers of SDO Navotas City. Before we end, we have some few reminders and announcement to our viewers and online participants. For episodes 5 to 7, you will only register once. So if you were able to register last week, that is counted already until for the next week episode, which is episode 7. But if you haven't, on the screen, you see the link right now for you to register. Again, you just need to register once for episode 5, 6, and 7, in which having the same theme, K-12 curriculum and planning. Then on next week, on the 7th episode, we will share the evaluation link that you must achieve 75% of the content assessment items in the online evaluation for you to receive your certificates of participation and appearance. The assessment item will cover the ideas and concepts discussed in episodes 5, 6, and 7. Again, there is only one evaluation and one registration for episodes 5, 6, and 7. And at the same, with having the same theme of K-12 curriculum and planning. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, follow, and share our Facebook pages, the DepEd Teaches, DepEd Philippines, and DepEd Tayo. We would also like to thank our regional and schools division offices, which repost and restream our episodes in their respective FB pages. We hope to see you again next Thursday for another learning episode of DepEd Teaches.
On behalf of the curriculum instruction, we hope it's been a meaningful afternoon with us. Remember, here in DepEd Teaches, our mission is empowering teachers, enabling learners. Good day, everyone.